Hi, and welcome to this YouTube tutorial. In this series, we're going to use SharePoint, Flow, Graph, Azure, and Postman to develop some custom functionality. Before we get started, I'd like to quickly review in greater detail what we're going to be creating and why. What we're going to be working on is a fairly simple concept. We're going to be developing some functionality that will allow a person to create an event on a SharePoint calendar and then have that same event be created on another person's Outlook calendar. Why? Many organizations use SharePoint for their corporate intranet. There are a lot of things you can use SharePoint for, which we're not going to cover in this series, but one typical use case would be an out-of-office calendar. Now, the great thing about using SharePoint for an out-of-office calendar is that you can attach workflows, have conditional logic on forms, etc., to really streamline your process from start to finish, whether it's an out-of-office calendar, vacation request, that kind of thing. The problem, though, is that that data is not reflected on the person's Outlook calendar. So even though somebody may show as away in SharePoint, when somebody goes to book a meeting with that same person using the Outlook scheduling assistant, they will actually show as available. So what we're going to do is going to address that. Now, for our specific use case, we're going to be focusing on the healthcare sector, but you could really apply the same concept to any sector or industry. I've created this little flow chart to help illustrate. Within a hospital, physicians may not have the time or even the access to update their own calendars, but it's important for staff to know which physicians will be in the office and which won't. So typically an executive assistant would take care of that for them. Now in this diagram, these managed calendar users are going to represent our physicians, and we have over here our exec assistant. So what we're going to do is have the exec assistant come into SharePoint, enter the out of office information on a SharePoint calendar, whether it's a conference, education, whatever, and they're also going to indicate which physician is going to be away. Now, that will obviously get saved to SharePoint, and then staff can view that on a dashboard or list view, and then that same event is going to be created on that physician's Outlook calendar, and it's a one-stop shop for the exec assistant. So I thought this was a good use case because it combined SharePoint, Flow, Graph, Azure, and Postman, and it's also got some real-world implications. So hopefully you'll be able to take what we do and apply it to your organization or company, etc. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in, and I'll see you in the next video.